Thank you for taking the time to do this interview. Being a fan of the band for so long, it's an honor to be able to talk to you.
No, likewise. We appreciate the time.
Well, awesome. Well, of course, we're here to talk about the brand new album, Reach, which is going to be coming out soon. And what went into the process for the new album after such a bit of a break?
We actually released last Friday.
Oh,
and,
it was last Friday.
It's churning up the charts, they say. So yeah, people are responding very, very well to it.
Well, that's awesome to hear. I mean, once I received the promo, I got excited to be able to hear it, and I really love the direction that it's going in.
With nothing really. It's so odd because so much conscious thought went into everything. But at the end of the day, we always let it rely on our gut instinct and what we felt was best. So it was a bit of a juggling act. We don't want to scare the old fans off, but we just said, you know what, let's make a record that we feel true to. As you know, and even some people in our circle were like, there's parts of it that aren't really Tyketto, and I'm like, well, we'll kind of define who Tyketto is, and I don't want to go rewrite Forever Young again. We wrote a great song, 25 years ago. It's time for something new. So Danny and I just really sat down. We're on 30 years together, and I think after all those years together, we just said, you know what? Let's just do what we want on any level. Like if it sells 5 copies and gets panned by every journalist out there, and we love it, then mission accomplished. We really wanted to make something that we felt was special. And we took some chances with this one, and we have not gotten reviews like this since our debut. People are just really feeling how organically we approached it, the sincerity behind it, the belief in it internally. Everybody's just like, what the hell is this thing? It's phenomenal. So we couldn't be prouder. Sticking to our guns really paid off.
Yeah, and I'm glad to hear that too. And you said all the words that I was just about to say about it too. I mean, it does sound like a very authentic record. It does not sound pandering to me whatsoever. It really feels like it came from the heart.
I think the one lesson, I've learned many, many lessons in the last 2 years with Tyketto in my life that taught me a lot of good things. But I think you can't underestimate the intelligence of your fans. People, forget about fans, just human beings. They sniff from a mile away of something sincere. They just feel it. That it's like, okay, these guys are, one girl wrote me and just said, how could I not, I was hoping to have half as good of a time at your show as you guys were up there. Like it's clearly evident. I never forget, I had to be a teenager. I saw Queen live like 5 times back in the day. And I must have been 16 or 17 or 18. And I just remember as a kid, they didn't look right to me. They looked like there was tension. I could feel it. They played great. And I remember reading in an interview like a year later, that's when Roger Taylor and Freddie Mercury were fighting, and they were unhappy. And I'm like, man, I was a teenager when I saw that. So I think people are really picking up on the fact of how much we're enjoying this together, and we really truly are. We're just having the times of our lives with it this year.
Yeah, and that's the way it should be too. I mean, after having such a long career that has been fortunate enough to be able to go this long, you still want to be able to love what you're writing and love what you're playing.
I think you need to allow yourself Dan, like I said, Danny and I have 30 years together. That's a long time to be, we're like brothers, we're friends, we're co-writers, we're co-producers, we're bandmates, and we went through, it's not always, like I tell you about surviving any relationship, it's not always easy. Like we got a very quick response with the original lineup, and we got signed, I think, to Geffen on our 9th or 10th show as a band. It was all a bit of a whirlwind. There was still that young ego there, but there was a big fat check, so that all went great. Then when times got lean, we started fighting because there wasn't meat on the table. We actually split company. I didn't talk to Danny for 3 or 4 years until we started his solo records together, where we almost rekindled a friendship bigger than ever. That really bonded he and I. And then, just different when Danny left and I did the Shine record with Steve Ogier. There's been so many rungs on this ladder that somebody just asked me yesterday, like, what's your plans for the future? I'm like, I'm not even going there. Like, I'm so enjoying the present. We'll find out what happens in the future tomorrow. Like, I'm thoroughly enjoying today. Because we've gone through, we got so many battle scars. We've been up and down. We've been knocked down so many times, and we just keep doing it. And I think people finally, it's like a Rocky story. People are like, man, these guys just don't stop. Ever. And it comes from a belief in each other and a belief in our music.
Yeah, and it definitely comes through, especially on the new album, because, again, it feels like this kind of rejuvenation in the band of sorts. I mean, with it being so authentic and from the heart, I mean, whether it's from lyrically or just from the organic music, not trying to recover the past, but keeping that same core sound of the band. I mean, from an outside perspective, it really does feel like the band is tight and really enjoying what's going on.
No, it's just like anybody who has like an on-again, off-again relationship with somebody that lasts many years, when that person comes back into your life, they're changed. Nobody stays the same. And sometimes your dynamic grows, sometimes your dynamic suffers. When we got together to do Digging Deep, I love Brooke and Jimmy till the day I die. They were part of a period in my life that nobody else will ever be a part of. That was the birth of Tyketto. If we didn't do what we did back then, this album wouldn't exist. I fully understand that, recognize that. When we got together for Digging Deep, it was so wonderful to see everybody, but it wasn't the same. It wasn't like it was, and we lived together. Brooke and I shared a bedroom for 4 years in 1991. The four of us lived in a house together for 6 or 7 years. So, of course, now Brooke has a kid, 2 kids and a wife. Danny's married. I'm married with a small child at the time. So it didn't seem like we were together. Nobody was fighting or anything like that. But the dynamic didn't seem like bliss. It seemed like we would get together with old friends. And I think Digging Deep sounds like that. I think Digging Deep has 4 or 5 unbelievably good songs on a good record. Reach comes along, and Danny was like, dude, the first day we auditioned Chris Green, and the rehearsal studio in England was so tiny, we had to set up in a circle. We couldn't set up like in layers. That's how small it was. So Danny was like, I'm looking at you and Chris looking at each other while you're playing. And it was like musical love at first sight. Like, I'm like, this guy just gets it. He's pulling it where I want to pull it. He's leaning into it where we should lean. Like, we just clicked instantaneously. And it was the same for Jed on keyboards. It was the same for Chris Childs on bass. So we're like, what's going on? Like, something is real special. Like, when you meet that special person you end up in a relationship or you end up marrying, it's like, there's something unique that you don't see every day here, and we all feel it.
Yeah, and it's amazing that it was able to get it that easily. I mean, being able to find that right connection right away, because sometimes a band will never have that, and they'll never make it through that first practice, let alone first show, first album, likewise. But it really sounds like you guys got it down, and I love that.
I took, right when my mom was passing, like 5 or 6 years ago, she was in the hospital for a while, so I would just go visit her, and we would she's a really wise Italian mom from New York, and we would have these lengthy, some of my best conversations with her were in that time period. And we talked about relationships. And to me, business relationship, band member relationship, guy and girl relationship, guy and guy relationship, anything that's you're sharing your life with somebody, there's certain rules that apply to all. And I remember my mother telling me, like, you can get it wrong a million times. All you have to do is get it right once in life. Forget about the 25 times, the bad relationships, the bad business. She was, when you get it right, A, you did better than most people getting it right once, and B, you'll know it from 100. Like, when this thing was there, it was so... Like, I did one show with Chris, and I just told Danny, I'm like, dude, this is the lineup for as long as these guys want to be here. Like, it just clicked. And, even coming off the Digging Deep thing, again, it was, I wouldn't say it was a forced comfortability, but it wasn't a natural one. Like, we grew apart as people do. So for this point in time, I couldn't be happier with our guys.
Yeah, and again, that just makes me so happy, too, because there are bands that have such a long career that are just kind of in it for the money, where they just want to play their hits, and they'll write an album that are just that same song in a new year. And that is not the impression this time around, and I'm glad to see that, too, because, there is some great hard rock and songs on this album. There's some great acoustic songs. I mean, it's just got a little bit of everything that I've always loved from the band.
No, the beauty of this record for me is, I just told another interviewer earlier, is because she said, what's your favorite part of this record? I said, my favorite part of this record is what you'll never hear, is when we started demoing this thing. And by demoing, I mean me in my basement in Jersey with an electronic kit, Chris in his home studio in Atlanta, and Danny in his living room in Spain. That's how we wrote this record. And even...
Still there?
Hello?
Oh, yeah, I think I lost you there for a minute.
Sorry, yeah, if you listen to this record versus the demos, obviously the sounds are bigger, and we made some arrangement moves and stuff like that, but the spirit of this music, even with how primitively we demoed it, you heard it from the get-go. Like we saw the vision through. Nothing changed from conceptually to being released to the world. It's still, there's something about the spirit of this band that, A, it's blowing us away internally, but consistently, everybody, with fans, journalists, strangers, like anybody, club owners, everybody's feeling it. Like, you guys really dialed into something that people are really connecting with. It's a rare thing, so we're really very appreciative of it.
And when it came into the songwriting for Reach, I mean, you were talking about how so little of it changed. Did it take a while to be able to get that feeling and get into songwriting mode?
Oh my God. It was, what ended up happening, again, nobody knows Danny Vaughn better than me. We've been through everything together. The way Danny works, his biggest dilemma is getting the wheels greased and getting started. Once he's in I'm a music writer mode, the stuff just pours out of him. To get him to that point sometimes, he goes through like phases of being intimidated. I'm not sure. I don't know if I got my mind. I've done 7 records with him, so I know the drill with him. Once he comes around and gets into the groove, he's non-stoppable. This time, with a co-patriot such as Chris with me, I'm like, you know what, dude, let's just start recording drum and guitar ideas. Let us get the ball rolling, which may inspire Danny. So I literally set my phone up. I don't know how to record anything. I'm like the worst technological person you'd ever meet. And I called it drum noodling, and I just played drums for a half hour. And I think out of that silly little drum thing I sent Chris off my phone audio, I think 5 or 6 of the songs, Fastest Man Alive, Big Money, a lot of those songs ended up from that little drum thing. So Chris took it. Luckily, Chris connected with it instantly and started sending stuff. So now we send everything to Danny. For 6 records prior, Danny would write the melodies on an acoustic guitar, then we would add the music. So this was the opposite of any way he ever worked. So now he had to find a place. He actually came to me a year and a half ago and was like, I don't know where to start with this music. I don't know what to do with it, because now I have to find my place with it. I'm not leading the charge here. For maybe 2 months, he was seriously questioning if it could be Tyketto music. And I just told him, I said, dude, it's a different approach. Take your roadmap and flip it upside down. We're going to take a different stance here. But as long as you're singing with your quality of voice and your quality of melody, it'll always be a Tyketto song. Whether it becomes Tyketto or not is now up to you. And once he kind of put caution to the wind and just went for it, when he sent the run and he sent like Reach, I'm like, dude, you circle the wagons. I'm like, forget about another Tyketto record. This is going to be the Tyketto record. Like, and once we kind of found our footing and like the last 5 or 6 songs we wrote, we were churning them out. Like Kick Like a Mule was 2 days. Letting Go was 1 day. It took a while to get that momentum and that groove, but once we nailed it, we were home free.
It's amazing how inspiration works like that. For some people, they don't even feel happy with the songs that they recorded for an album, let alone being able to record everything and just be that inspired by it. I mean, hearing that some of these songs that really stick out to me were just in a day or two just completely blows my mind.
It's, once you get that level of, there's a very old quote I read, I loved it. I'm always trying to remember because I always screw it up. It's, when everything falls into place, you'll find happiness, is incorrect. It's when you find happiness, everything falls into place. So I think the quality of the music, the ease of the recording, the good fortune we're having, that's not why we're happy. That came because we're happy with each other. And I've never looked at life that way. It's like we were just purely content. Like one guy thought I was just understating everything. I said, no, dude, I don't $100,000 a show when we go on the road. We're not making millions of dollars. We're schlepping it in the van. We're eating at truck stops. We're getting 3, 4, 5 hours sleep sometimes. I'm just happy with my guys. And it doesn't go beyond that. That's it. And if you don't have that, what the fuck are you doing it for? I mean, am I allowed to curse? Oops, sorry about that.
Oh, yeah. No, that's just fine.
Okay. But I just think the fact that we are just genuinely happy with the record and with each other, all these other good things are coming into play. Like it's just, and writing music, it's like that old exercise where you fall backwards, the trust exercise that your buddy's going to catch you. It's like nobody had an ego, nobody had an agenda, nobody was jealous if this guy got the spotlight on that song or none of that stuff. It's just a great band record. And to me, in my opinion, everybody's overplaying and nobody cares. It's just like, I've never played drums like this on an album before. It's so over the top, but it's wonderful.
Yeah, and I was going to bring that up as well, getting more into the drums of the album. I mean, that was, of course, being a drummer myself, that was one of the first things I noticed was that you were showing off a bit more on this album. And, I mean, was that intentional when you were writing, or did it just come out natural like that?
A little bit of both. I wanted, the biggest thing that always drove me nuts, we're actually releasing a tour book on tour this November that I actually compiled. And it's just to see everything we're talking about today, all this stuff that happened a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. I was clearing out my computer, and I found all the email exchanges and all the text exchanges back from when these songs were just ideas. And you saw it from back then, of like, I wrote Danny 2 years ago when we first started rumbling about a new album. And I said, let's discuss what we want to make before we make it. And I said, for me personally, whether you like this band or not, our live show is never denied. We always get great live. This is one of the best live bands you'll ever see. But then we go into a studio and approach everything differently. I want to capture the heart and soul of our live show. On record, I always fashion myself like a Tico Torres, that I kept 4/4 time. I played it a little safe but solid, and let the vocal melody and guitar drive the show, or like a Mick Brown from Dokken, or they're very commendable drummers. I love all of them, but they never really had their moment to just go with Tommy Lee or you know, these more show-offy kind of drummers. So I said, you know, I want to really approach this. Let's work up a sweat. Let's go for it. You know, push your vocal range limits. Let me push my drumming limits. And I also think I'm always conscious of not walking over Danny's melodies when I played on all the other records. The fact that Chris and I started everything with bass and drums, I had no melody to wonder if I Kick Like a Mule is just a drum solo. And Danny loved it. He's like, that's great. Don't change a thing. So it was partially conscious and partially non. And then I get my song like Scream, or I get my song like Need It Now, that it doesn't call for gymnastic drumming. It's a good 4/4, just lay, or something. When they played me Letting Go, which Chris and Danny had the helm of, I told Danny, like, maybe on the outro of the song I'll do a little simple 4/4, but for the most of it, it doesn't need drums. So it was conscious. I feel like this record, if somebody wants to say what was Michael's drumming like, this is the record I'm going to play him.
Yeah, and
undeniably.
Yeah, and it's a great representation of what you can do. I mean, just like you said, for as many over-the-top moments that there are drumming-wise, there's just as many moments where you just lay back or not play for the benefit of the song.
Well, that's the whole, the benefit of the song was our mantra, like bigger than anything. And we were very fortunate. Again, it's just, you know, this extended family, having agents that stood by us when we had no juice, or, you know, finding a video producer. The guy that produced the Reach video, he charged us 1/10 of what we should have paid. And I told him flat out when I met him, like, I can't afford to pay you. You produce like television shows. And he goes, I don't care. I've been a fan of this band for 20 years. I love this song, and I'm doing it. And that wasn't one guy with a camera. It was 4 cameras. It was catering. It was hair and makeup. He rented out that big, huge soundstage we played the video in. That was all him, because he believed in the band. So with our extended family, the record is representative of a lot of things. And I think it's that sense of community, like you just said. Like, if it's not, if it doesn't help the song for me to play drums on it, then I won't play drums on it. Simple as that.
Yeah, and that's definitely the best way to approach writing music as well. I mean, of course, after all these years, you know how it's going to go with songwriting. I mean, at this point in the stage, you would know where to play and where not to play. And it's just great to see that that momentum is still going on with Reed.
No, I think we've surpassed anything we've ever done before, because toward the end, I think Brooke was just in a different headset, and I wanted to up the game. I wanted to, like, work up a fucking sweat and get crazy and really lean into the shows like we're doing now. And Brooke was like, I think we should play to the album tempos, and I'm doing a lot of studio work, so can you not hit the drums as hard? And I'm like, that's kind of standing against, and again, I'm not, if that's how he felt, I fully respected it. That's our last dialogue before he bowed out, was basically like, I don't feel you're happy here. And for you, if you're not happy, it doesn't do you any good. And don't take it the wrong way, but if you're not happy, you shouldn't be here. Like, that's not what this is about. It's not like, oh, I'm miserable, but I'm going to walk out with $1.5 million in royalties, so I guess it's worth doing. There's no real huge compensation here at this juncture. So if you're not believing in it, that's the only reason to do it at this point. So, yeah, it just seems we have 5 guys in that studio, and then got blessed with our producer and our engineer. Like, I recorded that whole record in 2 days. We just went for it. I recorded Big Money at 4:30 in the morning. And Chris was just like, he was my guy in the studio. And he was like, dude, you're so shot right now. You're white as a ghost. You're on like your second pot of coffee. Like, you're wired. Going for that song now. Do it. I'm like, all right. I just went in, and I think in 2 takes we had it. It was done.
Oh, that is just amazing to be able to get it done in that amount of time. I mean, 2 days to be able to record that whole album, and for it to sound as amazing as it does with your playing. It's just so cool.
The producer thought I was full of shit at one point, because I met him beforehand. And here's this, you know, we're leaving to do our record, and we've yet to play it in the same room together. And I'm like, drummers are up first. If I struggle with my tracks, I'm going to throw the whole, we had a very tight room. I think it was like 15 days for everything. Well, Mike will get it. Mike got Don't Come Easy in I think 5 days, 4 or 5 days, and he did Straight to Numbers in 4 days, and he's going to blow. And I'm like, Bruce, there's too much pressure on me. I've never even played this song with the band before. It's you know, Don't Come Easy, as much as I love it, on a drumming level, it was fairly simple. Maybe lay your body down a little intricate, maybe strip me down, but for the most part, you know, it was simple stuff. This is like a challenging drum record. I said, I don't like this pressure. So he was like, were you bullshitting me back then? Because you just blew through these songs, like, I think 2.5 days, and we were finished. 13 tracks. 12 tracks. And he was like, that was simple. And I'm like, I can't figure this out for the life of me. And we ended up way ahead of schedule, which was wonderful. But I'm like, it's just, once again, this, and it sounds so corny to say. I always hate saying it. It sounds so cheesy. But it's like, There's just mysterious wind at our back and this inexplicable energy that everything just works out for us the last 2 years. Like, again, just that session, like I underbooked it. I thought we were going to go over and we came in under. Or, these opportunities for these worldwide festivals we're getting called on to. It's nuts. It's just crazy, but I guess that good energy is just infectious.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, just from the new complete lineup, the new album going as amazingly well as it has, the critical acclaim that it's getting, and just like you said, these offers that you're getting to be able to play for next year and everything else that's going on. I mean, if there's a band that deserves it, it's you guys.
No, and it's with no ego intended, I agree, because I know, people don't really get, even with our guys, we don't have the time. My wife thinks I'm nuts. She's like, you really have to go downstairs and practice Forever Young and Wings and Standing Alone? I'm like, you damn straight I do. Like, I don't want to rely on what I did 20 years ago. So all of us, I practice Don't Come Easy, which I could play in my sleep. I practiced that for a month straight, the whole record top to bottom, before I go play it live. So all the accolades of the album quality and the quality of the live show, we work for that. Like, this band is dedicated. There's no drugs in the camp. There's social alcohol at best in the camp. No addictions. There's no keep this guy away from that guy because they hate each other stuff. None of that. It's a very healthy organism, Tyketto. Really, really is.
Yeah, and that's an important thing to reach because, again, there are so many bands that never get to experience what you guys are going through right now, where you can just work with ease, go at your pace, and everyone's happy in the band without having to rely on outside sources.
Exactly. And I think when you set this all up, you start getting inundated with, this guy just gave us a tour I don't want to do, but it's an inconvenience for me. Like, we set all of our own rules right now. We have agents, but we confirm all the bookings. We decided what the first single was. We decided what the running order was. We decided the songs that ended up on the record. So when you're at the high, a lot of the Geffen era decisions were being made for us, which in retrospect, I didn't agree with all of them. I did agree with a lot of them, but not all of them. I think we're older and wiser now, and it's just, it's a good, I'm trying to explain this to my 9-year-old son, and I'm learning it in my 50s, is just, you got to do what you feel is right, because at the end of the day, you're going to live with your decisions. Nobody else is. So you have to do what works for you. And you may not have success with it. Like everybody, this was a very risky move. There was a pretty high up person in our business camp that was like, this record is career suicide. You guys are fucking nuts. Nobody's going to listen to Kick Like a Mule. Big money, that shuffle rock, Mr. Big Feel, that's not Tyketto. And it really laid into us, like, you guys are making a very large mistake with this record. And we just said, you know what, we're sorry you feel that way. We don't agree. We think this is one of the best records we've ever done, and we're going to see it through. And there was something about that level of confidence in our reply that made that person go, okay, well, maybe this one's not that bad, and that Circle of Wagons is pretty good. And all of a sudden, and 2 months later, they're like, we're killing it. Great job, guys. Go. Yeah, like, okay. So I think you kind of got to take everybody's opinions in, because everybody's opinions have value. I mean, that same gave us 5 or 6 brilliant marketing plan ideas and what to do. So at the end of the day, you take it all in, but you need to make your final decisions and stand by them.
Absolutely. And again, it definitely worked out for the best for you guys. The brand new Tyketto album, Reach, which is available now and easily going to be one of my favorite albums of 2016 because of the pure emotion and passion that goes into the musicianship and the overall songwriting. I mean, I love that a band of this legacy is able to put out such quality work after all this time, and it's just getting bigger and better from here.
No, I appreciate it. I think the biggest thing for me, just in talking to so many people about it over the last couple of weeks, is the first Van Halen record or Appetite for Destruction. Like, what everybody's saying is the energy of these performances just jumps off the CD. Like, it's just incredible that you just feel this wave of intensity coming off of it. And that's what I'm the most proud of. Is I think we finally, after all these years together, I think we nailed what we're about live. Like, if you've never seen Tyketto, that record is Tyketto live.
Oh, amazing. I mean, I really hope I get the chance one day, if you ever make it to Minnesota, I would love to be able to see you guys and be able to hear, especially the new album live.
Well, I'm not sure where you're at in relation to Chicago, but we're headlining Rock and Skull next October.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm about 7.5, 8 hours from there. I'm in Minneapolis, Minnesota, but that is definitely something to think about.
Are they still doing Summer Jam out there? Summer Brew, what do they call that?
They have a few different ones out there, but Somerset, yes.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, there's a couple of really, because we're doing the Sunday in Chicago, so we may be looking to hit some other Midwest markets on that Friday and Saturday if we could.
Oh, that would be amazing, and if that does happen, I would definitely love to be able to see this new lineup and this new energy in the band, because if this really is a representation of what you guys are live now in 2016, I just imagine that the live show is just going to be perfection.
It's impressive. It is a take no prisoner mentality, and people are like, holy smokes, like, what was that? So I appreciate your time, and thanks for spreading the word.
Oh, not a problem. And once again, thank you for taking the time to do this interview, to be able to promote the brand new Tyketto album, Reach, which is available now. Before we're done, is there anything else you'd like to mention that I haven't brought up yet?
We just got the tour coming up in November, December. That's our Facebook is Tyketto the Official. We are launching Tyketto.com this winter. It's not up yet. And then just look out for us in 2017. Got a lot of more tour dates coming up. We're going to be releasing a video for one of the songs in about a week or so. So there's a fifth single coming out accompanied with a video, and I think everybody's going to be very happy to see what song it is.